All right, I'm Graham Reed.
Thomas.
Welcome to the Ystupidest Ever episode. Started on what we're going to be talking about today?
What we're going to be talking to what this podcast is going to, some of the topics that we'll be covering, our goals, some of our outlines, the people that might be on the show in the future, and just kind of an overview. We're kind of setting up the tone, maybe jokes, also a couple, some hints about how. So we'll hope you guys will enjoy for a second episode. Graham, start it.
With that, one thing we can do episodes is many of the so we could talk to in such events. So athletics, congrats to the York Theater win at Addison Trail.
Oh, that's a nice win.
Also, we'll be talking about work news. So maybe
be hitting on policies at York. If you want to hear that spiel, definitely tune in.
And definitely when we'll be talking about lots of, as if you live quite...
God, that was close.
...in Elmhurst, so there's a lot of things to do around. We could politics, so would you like to the political side of things?
I'm obviously if you don't know me, I am. On this channel, we'll be talking quite a bit. I'm definitely going over the midterm up in November. We'll be going over that, lead up to a stake, and then winners, as well as Congress, how it pain, and elections in 2019. We'll be bringing in friends Nick Mastro, filling in for us to cover the elections, current policy changes, the Trump administration by Congress, Supreme Court nominee hearing about the Supreme Court, talking to justice, how that's so. Definitely to some, hopefully very two-sided, not one-sided.
Yes, so if there's an at the moment, so for example, there was the whole crisis at the detained and separated from their parents, like for certain issues like those, we could ask, what do you think we should do about it? For example, with the probably a really big, earlier this year was Parkland. So that was very, especially with the walkout and more protests, we could get, so we could definitely interview Mary leaning or right-leaning, because there's a lot of diversity. That would be very interesting to capture. And also issues and unite as a content body so that we are both. Also, we will be at York as there are multiple and many organizations like Canadian students should be receiving Light Bowl junior year.
Say some of the clubs are in York.
But I have which definitely get involved in. So that's keep going to the meetings on the crew. So those a lot of work during the rehearsal work. A lot of the only 3 performances, but also French club, a lot of Spanish club, Chinese club, almost culture. So that Italian, Chinese languages you can take right here at York. Interesting languages. Also part of Key Club, which is a very volunteering opportunity, especially for NHS, for getting involved to communities. And if you want to get involved with NHS, it's a wonderful thing to go on college. Speaking of colleges, like that.
Yeah, so we're in high school. The bus. Are considering who aren't. We'll also talk about trade school. Also, when you graduate as a senior, what you're going to do with your. But since most are going to be talking about things like looking for what kind of university, what requirements they have. Colleges have on SAT writing, all that kind of stuff. Give you a broad overview. But give you an overview of the college application process, searching process, and all people are all as actually taking at some point. In their time here, we'll be talking about those strategies for doing when you should take them, how you
study. Definitely study.
Taking the SAT, you definitely need.
We talk about how to study with friends if they are SAT, PSA,
subject tests,
AP tests. That's a big AP Gov. If you're taking those classes, all the big AP credits. Yeah, definitely study when the time comes. We'll for those and how test taking strategies would be. Also now going forward, test taking to freshmen, sophomores, as there are lots of things to know that you life hacks. So as time goes on, we more of those and also social advice, all sorts of advice, and also we'll talking about how. Friday night, very fun. Trust us on that. Some people would like to work the team as it is yours. There's the cheer team, you've got and the team, of course.
Indeed.
To be talking about some of our Fridays.
So hopeful members, Nick Mastro I talked about. We also used to that we were on the Brian paper. Yes, for those Brian had a newspaper anymore. Mr. Fuller moved, but when we were back on a little section called the Young Restaurants, and we might ask, maybe hip around here.
Food Friday it will be our. Almost not every
Monday.
Yeah. We maybe record there. We probably review their vibe. Is it in a good place? Is it in a very secluded? There are several meatheads, Wild Wings, New Crepes. We get to review that sometimes.
I heard about bubble tea.
Might have heard of that, but so many good restaurants. I mean, some of them are like 18 plus, 21 plus, but like Fitz's for they have good food. Also, Guac and Tacos is and burritos.
And it's Buffalo Wild Wings.
Those are-
So
we'll be reviewing theatrical releases. There's some good books on New York when that time comes up, or 9H9, English 11. All the you review some of those books. Time comes for course selection. Say what courses should you choose? Sophomore, as
Seniors,
there
what course?
So as more class English, fine arts like photo, digital photo, industrial tech. There's many more. Spin of YTV, which is a very summer school. It's a very fine option.
Yeah. As a member of the YTV, he would know.
And
that.
you're also a member.
Yes, well,
This
it's,
would work if it's not.
to say the least, we're backgrounds in journalists. We have somewhat journalistic background. The podcast and a little bit of experience. That's going to happen sometimes for me specifically.
Time comes, like, you gotta calculate your GPA to put. Also, like, during test taking, we'll definitely talk about law master and how to get. We could tell you how to get to the master on the Commons website, which is a group. There's student tutors during your lunch period. There are Commons, but unfortunately, you cannot period at lunch anymore. So, but yeah. Having trouble with trying to get help. For example, trouble with biology, very hard to deal with. But I'm doing A-okay. Involved with clubs, we already mentioned. Coming up with the next month, we'll be talking more about what we're going to be discussing in future. So maybe at the 30-second clip of a student or one of us. And also group students. Also later this month will be the home game. So when the time comes, definitely be talking about those to go to the dance, whether or not the game.
Earlier, if you're asking a week before the dance, it's a little late. I shouldn't say that. Time to ask.
Right.
Asking sooner is better.
Yeah,
That's all I'm going to say for now.
Yeah, I have to make a big post or make it like people have done that. If you're that kind of, then do that. But if you want to keep all means, it's totally fine. Everyone who's going with not always like that, but there are a lot of people who do. So yeah.
And so that's for a later date.
We will we will at York with students on issue more time relative. So that concludes for our first cast.